play.
What a beautiful night in Tucson and some beautiful beach volleyball. Boy, that sky is just gorgeous here. Bear Down Beach. One more match to play on Pac-12 Network, capping our 12 hours of coverage today. We are dedicated to beach volleyball at Pac-12 Network. First, we'll take a look at the winner's bracket. It comes out with the top 2 seeds advancing, USC and UCLA.
And we kind of expected that. Those are right now the top 2 ranked teams in the country. UCLA at 2, and then USC undefeated on the season and playing in dominating style right now.
Meanwhile, we're going to have one more match in the contenders bracket. You just missed a thriller. Hopefully you were with us. Arizona coming down to their 4th pair to beat Stanford 3-2. And coming up now, one more team is going to advance tomorrow. Will it be Arizona State or Washington? Hey everybody, I'm Anne-Marie Anderson alongside 3-time beach volleyball Olympian Holly McPeak. And Holly, that was a thrilling end. There's one more team that's going to be playing tomorrow, Arizona State and Washington. What are the strengths of each of these programs?
Washington, a storied program indoor, fantastic athletes. They're relatively young, not a lot of experience. They do a 5-week beach season, and they're peaking at the right time. So some talented athletes in the Washington jerseys, but Arizona State committed to beach volleyball. New first-year head coach Brad Keenan leading the charge. So, I mean, in terms of advantage and experience in the sand, Arizona State should have that advantage, but Washington has some fantastic athletes on their roster.
We're going to start our action on the one court, Ariano and Follett against Jones and Scambray. There'll be 5 courts of action going on at the same time. We've had that all day today. It's a little bit different than the way beach volleyball is usually presented, and it makes it tough on the coaches because you got to pick. There's not 5 coaches, there's only 3, so people are left alone for a bit. Take us through the rules of this, Holly.
It's a double elimination, but this is a contenders bracket match. They've already lost, so whoever loses goes home. Whoever wins plays tomorrow. Best 3 of 5 wins the match. All 5 matches play at the same time. First 2 sets to 21, you must win by 2 points. The 3rd set to 15 points, again, you must win by 2.
We'll bounce around and look at all the courts, but when we start on the court number 1, Ariano and Follett really have been one of the teams that people have been talking about, not just at this tournament, but all season long. They are the perfect kind of big little combination.
Yeah, and they started their careers indoor and then kind of fell in love with the beach game and got better and better, and then decided to stay for grad school and finish that last year of eligibility. They complement each other, they have good chemistry, and they can push the best teams in the country. Big block at the net, strong defender in Bianco Ariano. It's going to be fun to watch them compete in the pairs tournament.
Traditionally, Holly, in your professional career, 72 beach wins. You played in this kind of a combination once you and Barb Fontana moved on, right? The 2 smaller players. What works so well in this combination? Because they always serve the littler player.
Yeah, well, you have a dominant presence at the net. Whitney Follett is one of the best blockers in the country, and you have a strong defender in the backcourt. So you have players playing to their strengths, and sometimes you have 2 bigs, and they're not as good defensively as somebody who plays defense all the time. And then you have somebody who's not as dominant a blocker, but they do everything well. So it's just a matter of, you know, playing to your strengths or your personnel strengths.
And so how do you get around the fact that as a smaller player, like you were, you get served every time?
Oh, you don't. You just side out and hope they switch it up. And I mean, I got served a lot, but I won a lot. So.
Right. But for Ariano, like, what's her strength attacking-wise?
She sees the court well. She's got a good hand on the ball. She knows where to put the ball in certain situations. She does a good job. It's a lot of pressure when someone, you know, 5'8", like Bianca Ariano, 5'9", you know, has to hit against a 6'6" blocker. I mean, I would not have enjoyed that at all. But fortunately, I'm retired and I don't have to do that. But, you know, Bianca Ariano goes up and over Tia Scambray. She sees the court well and moves the ball around. That's what's important. You have to be able to know when to hit, when to shoot, and what parts of the court to attack.
Let's talk about Washington's top pair, Chrissy Jones and Tia Scambray, both juniors in the indoor program as well. They grew up playing together, went to high school together. What's their strength? They're more similarly sized.
Yeah, well, Chrissy Jones, they're both big and they both can attack the ball. Chrissy Jones has a bigger presence at the net blocking, and Tia Scambray feels better reading the game from behind the block and defending. But both of them are big players who can side out, and that puts a lot of pressure on their opponents because who do you serve? They can both bang the ball.
Scambray pops that. Ariano handles the first, Follett handles the first ball, hits it into the net.
And that's a break for Washington. Chrissy Jones she had fallen on the ground and she was not getting back up.
Little shot.
Good cut shot by Bianca Ariano, taking the ball short in front of Scambray.
7-6.
Ariano serving. Goes at Scambray. Blocker pulls off. Scambray going for that deep corner.
Tia Scambray has to side out all the time indoor. She's used to it.
Tomorrow, our coverage will start at 9 a.m. Pacific time. The final 4 matches of this tournament. So far, the top 3 seeds have advanced: USC, UCLA, and Arizona. Arizona State is the 4 seed. Will they advance, or will it be Washington, who, as you mentioned earlier, young in terms of time on the beach? They only have a 5-week beach season, but they're fearless. They came in with, really not a whole lot of expectations as what they could and couldn't do. They wanted to see the best competition, and they are.
Well, and they're peaking at the right time. Even though their season is short, they've got the athletes, and they are peaking at the right time, having a really strong PAC12 tournament. Tia Scambray puts it up for Chrissy Jones with a nice little drop shot on 2.
Follett up. Bounces it off of Scambray.
Whitney Follett getting her feet to the ball, being very aggressive. Even when the block's up, she's turning it sharp.
The thing that strikes me when I look at kind of the totality of these 2 squads, Arizona State all the way across, Washington all the way across. Arizona State has a lot of variety in the players that they're looking at. I mean, you see Acaro, and her partner is just, it's a different look. Follett and Ariano, obviously. When you get to Washington, you see big, strong bodies for the most part. Schwann and Destiny July, big hitters. You do see a little bit of classic Big Little and Wade and McPherson, but, it is big bodies doing incredible work for Washington.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best indoor volleyball programs in the country, and these are the athletes who play and train hard and are very mindful of how they train. So they take that out to the beach, and that's why they can play at this level, even though they only train 5 weeks.
Well, one of the things that has been brought to our attention by Coach Jonathan Winder is that they only have 2 beach-only players, and they're both walk-ons. That's going to change for them next year as they have seniors who will be beach-only.
How about that hit by Chrissy Jones? Wow.
Jones and Scambray have been making noise across the conference. This is the only Pac-12 pair of the week that wasn't from one of the top 2 teams in the country, USC or UCLA.
Yeah, but it doesn't surprise me. Chrissy Jones came from the USA High Performance program on the beach all through high school. Tia Scambray grew up, around the beach playing, so they both all around fantastic players, and they're transferring their skills to the beach.
Players indoor under head coach Keegan Cook played in the NCAA tournament last year. Scambray came in, immediate impact player in the indoor program when she was a freshman. And meanwhile, Follett and Ariano, a different advantage. They're done with their indoor eligibility. They stuck around specifically for this, and their jump from 2 years ago to now has been monumental.
And that's time in the sand. They've been full-time athletes. They had a preseason and got all those good reps, and it shows.
Acaro and Barrage chasing July and Schwann. In court 3, Strickland and Hogue leading Lundberg and Carballo. You know, and Bianca Ariano a couple of years ago was paired with Macy Gardner, who was an incredible athlete for Arizona State. Whitney Follett was playing in the 3 slot with Hallie Harker, who was a smaller player by far. And, you know, they spent just the 2016 season together, did these two, and just with their second year of pairing.
Yeah, they have great chemistry. Their games complement each other. Whitney Follett improved a lot, and Bianca Ariana's game really complements Whitney's.
Scambray turns it a little too much the other way.
Tia Scambray needs to adjust her approach on the left side, get out a little wider to protect that wide set, keep the ball in front of her right shoulder, and it'll give her more offensive range. That's one of the adjustments that you make, you know, indoor to beach. And if she's already a great hitter, if she'd made that little adjustment, she'd be really hard to stop.
So let me understand so that people can, she's approaching a little bit too straight on?
Correct. Yep. If she kicked out a little bit and had that angle approach, right now she's letting the ball get past her right shoulder. It really limits where you can put the ball, and it makes it easier to read as a defender.
And she's an outside hitter on the indoor team where she is approaching from the outside. So you think her approach is merely effective that she's passing from the middle of the court and isn't forcing herself to get out?
Exactly. And it's not as extreme. You don't go way out like you're indoors, but you do need a little bit of an angle to keep that ball on your right side.
Chrissy Jones, meanwhile, played both on the right and the left for the indoor team, if my mind is serving me right.
Yeah, and she's versatile. We saw her win CIF in high school, and she was a left side hitter, but she's been mostly right. Played a little bit of middle for Washington indoors this past season. Chrissy Jones forcing Bianca Ariano out of bounds, all tied up in the first set.
And this is really big for Jones and Scambray, the Pac-12 pair of the week, because Ariano and Follett have been wreaking havoc throughout this tournament. And in fact, for a few weeks now. Big wins. They took Plummer and Gray and just straight set wins back-to-back over them last week and then again today.
Tia Scambray with the ace serve.
Neither of these programs will be playing next week in the NCAA championship field, so this is the biggest tournament for them. This is the end of their season. It either ends tonight for one of these teams and tomorrow for the other.
And Washington was here at 9 a.m., their first match of the day. They were playing, was it Oregon?
Yep.
Or actually it was Utah.
Let's take a look back because 12 hours of Pac-12 coverage.
I've seen way too many volleyball matches today, but it's been wonderful.
It's never been too much. Yeah, it was Utah and Oregon actually in that 9 a.m. match. And Washington played right afterwards at 10 a.m. against UCLA.
Okay, I was off by an hour. But it's a long day when you're playing at almost 9 o'clock and your first match was at 10 a.m.
I'll defend you. They were here at 9.
Yeah.
They just played at 10. How about that?
Okay, thank you. Tia Scambray going on a little run from the service line. Had an ace down the middle. Now they're up 17-14 in the first set.
And there's the danger of the team sport, right? Scambray and Jones looking over their shoulder at their teammates and pairs, and the big board, scoreboard. Follett and Ariano having a conversation.
Huskies are used to winning.
Brad Keenan, head coach in his first season as Arizona State's head coach of the program, brings all of his wealth of knowledge and beach volleyball experience. The former beach pro, 2006 Rookie of the Year and the most improved player in 2007 in the AVP.
Well, he was a fantastic indoor player at Pepperdine and then brought his game out to the beach and made the transition. One of the best servers in the world, huge presence at the net. So he's done all the things he's asking his athletes to do and is having a lot of fun doing it.
Court number 5, action between Katie Cross and Natalie Braun, and Crabtree and Chalmers leading as they are at set point for Washington. Quick work being done by the Huskies, and that's what Jones and Scambray were over taking a look at.
Anna Crabtree and Lindsay Chalmers have been on fire for Washington. scoring points in most of the duels.
And this is the walk-on team for Washington. The ones who do not play indoor, they are the only beach-only players on the program, and they pick up a first set win over Cross and Braun.
Hannah Crabtree joined 5 weeks ago. She's just getting to know the girls, and she and Lindsay Chalmers are just competing at that 5 spot for Washington.
Taking a look now at Arizona State picking up a set win against Strickland. Well, yeah, against Strickland and who?
Ellison Lundberg and Caitlin Carballo coming up 21-13 in the first set for Arizona State. Both freshmen.
And back to court number 1 for the top pairs. Jones and Scambray leading by 3, but Ariano puts it away. Back within 2.
Threading the needle is Bianca Ariano.
Set 1 wins for Arizona State in the 3s and Washington in the 5s. Maybe setting us up for another tight finish. Scambray, vision.
Set point for Chrissy Jones and Tia Scambray. That ball hit out of bounds. Don't know if Bianca Ariano was swinging for high hands, but didn't get anything. Good first set win for Washington.
A big win for them against an incredibly tough team. The wall of Canada that is usually Whitney Follett was not a factor. And so we'll go over to the 2 pairs. Washington's Schwann and July leading Barrage and Okaro. And Destiny July, 8 kills in this first set.
Nice cushion, up 20-13 in this first set. All they need to do is side out to win this first set for Washington. Good start for the Washington Husky volleyball program.
Little ball coming off the block over Okaro, and a set 1 win for Destiny July and Courtney Schwann. And so a first set, a good start for Washington. Arizona State picking up a set 1 win at 3s.
You're watching PAC12.
PAC12 Beach Volleyball is brought to you by State Farm. Get to a better state. We are in Tucson for the PAC12 Beach Volleyball Championships. We've been on air for 12 hours. Our PAC12 crew has been working very hard. Kevin Burnett and Kevin Wong took the morning session. Holly McPeak and I, Anne-Marie Anderson, taking the evening session. And this is the final match of the day. This is the contenders bracket. Win, survive, and advance. You lose, you're out of the team competition. Let's take a look at the 3 pairs. Lundberg and Carballo of Arizona State leading set 2, 6-1 against Strickland and DeHoog.
Carly DeHoog at 6'4" is the full-time blocker, and Cassie Strickland, who is known as one of the best liberos in the country for Washington, is the defender for Washington.
And of course, Strickland was a tremendous outside hitter for Washington. Before Scambray came to Washington, and Cassie Strickland had to go to the libero position, change everything about her, and became the Pac-12 Libero of the Year.
And it's funny, I read her questionnaire, and she said it was a really hard transition. She always prided herself for being an undersized outside hitter, and making that transition, she kind of hit a little challenging time, but really overcame it and thrived and helped the Washington program reach really high levels indoors.
I mean, there's a lot of respect for her, the way she eventually got herself to embrace the program. I mean, this is somebody that was a middle linebacker in middle school on the football team. She likes a challenge. And she can still pop the ball, mind you. Really can hammer the ball when given the opportunity.
Cassie Strickland, very dynamic, can jump and bounce the ball. You see the freshman duo of Caitlin Carballo from Laguna Beach and partner Ellison Lundberg, also a freshman, Caitlin Carballo, they're a pretty new team together. They've been playing about 3 weeks, but Caitlin Carballo, she's a little bit undersized lefty, great beach experience, because she's been siding out really well for Arizona State.
Well, one of the things that Brad Keenan told us in his first year head coach, we were asking him kind of the adjustment to the team aspect of the game, and he said, going into the season, my philosophy was I want to keep the teams together for chemistry. And then he said, after a while, you realize, I don't like this player under pressure. I need to put them with this player. You know, putting people in recovery, fewer mistakes. Those are the things that you're looking for. Very different than the partnerships that he had when he was a pro player in just a more traditional you and me against the world.
Well, it's funny. Men and women, in terms of partnerships in beach volleyball, are completely different. Men can say all sorts of awful things to each other, and they don't care. As long as they're competing, it's like they don't even let it bother them. Women working together, it's a whole different chemistry issue, trust me. And that's what Brad Keenan learned. He's trying to find the right combinations, and he feels like this is his best group of 5 pairs.
Well, you talked about the success he's had. I mean, 4-time ABCA All-American, 2-time National Player of the Year at Pepperdine, a tremendous server. You mentioned tremendous success elsewhere. Sometimes it's hard to translate that and to teach people who don't have all that talent, but his players love him and feel really good about the things they're doing.
There you see Ellison Lundberg, the freshman, number 10, hitting it deep in the corner. And there you see Brad Keenan sitting in the box for the 3 pair of Arizona State. Kind of a swirly win. Caitlin Carballo staying with her jump topspin serve. That one's sailing a little long.
Well, and Carballo and Lundberg were really only put together 3 weeks ago. He just likes the way that they scrap, and really felt like that was, you know, the great combination. Carballo, as you talked about her serve, she's the only Sun Devil who jump serves. Ball up off the tape, that works just fine.
Ellison Lundberg from Larkspur, California, so big, athletic. And she and Caitlin Carballo don't mind going long rallies. They're young and energetic, and they'll do what it takes.
Cassie Strickland, you can feel it when she approaches, like a freight train.
And she loves to bounce it down the line. That's her favorite swing if you get a scouting report, but watch this. Only 5'8", but she gets up and boom, down the line. If you're a blocker, you have to take that away from her.
Left hand.
Am I allowed to say my favorite song's playing in the background?
No, because nobody can hear it.
Okay.
After 12 hours, you're finally getting distracted. How about over the head of DeHogue?
I love the way Ellison Lundberg and Caitlin Carballo, just the way they're moving, they're covering the court. Seems like they're communicating well.
You wonder with Lundberg and Carballo as that one hits the antenna, if they do stay together, and there's a lot of switching of pairs, but freshmen, the kind of pair that they would be 4 years from now.
You can see them be that top pair representing Arizona State, but you never know.
Well, so let's take a look at the big picture here. Taking a look at the ABCA poll. Next week is the NCAA championship, and so the field is being set, 3 from the West, 3 from the East, and you see the first 3 teams in that poll. They are in, based on this poll, in terms of what you'd expect: USC, UCLA, and Pepperdine.
Yeah, they would go automatically in according to our calculations. And then if you look at the East Coast teams, it could be Florida State, LSU, FIU, or Georgia State. FIU and Georgia State could argue that their schedules were much tougher than LSU's, or maybe a little tougher. So RPI could come into that equation. And then Long Beach State and Hawaii, pretty good argument for them to get those at-large bids. 2 of the best beach volleyball programs in the country.
And so there you have Arizona, who's right on the cusp, and that's a tough spot to be. Of course, this will all be decided on April 30th, announced, and then in Gulf Shores, Alabama, the NCAA's second ever beach volleyball team champions will be crowned. USC won the inaugural NCAA beach volleyball championship. Who's it going to be this year? We'll find out next week in Gulf Shores, Alabama.
I can't wait. I think it's the deepest, best, highest level of competition we've ever seen.
I thought you were going to say it's the deepest sand, too. I thought you were going to say that, but Manhattan Beach has very deep sand.
Deepest field of talent.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying it's a beautiful venue. It's a real treat for these teams to go out there. And the jump every year, Florida State, the national runners-up last year, they look terrific again. Pepperdine looks so strong again. UCLA has made a massive jump from last year to this year in terms of depth.
If you talk about Pepperdine, last year they were good, but they didn't have that big presence at the net, the big blockers, and I thought that was the one thing they're missing. But this year they've done a much better job putting a big block up at the net on all their pairs, and then they match up with the bigger teams. Pepperdine looks really strong.
Meanwhile, back here at Bear Down Beach for the Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Championships, Carballo.
Caitlin Carballo, that lefty, hits that ball fast in the angle, getting that to drop against a very defensive Cassie Strickland.
What's Carballo's strength, the thing that she does the best?
I like her hand. She hits the ball well. She's a little bit undersized. She moves around the court well. She's just kind of a good all-around small player. Wow, Carly DeHoo getting her feet to the ball, able to get it over the net. You can see her ponytail blowing, and the wind kind of carried that over and got that ball to drop.
You've seen Carballo's development through a high school club, plays for elite beach volleyball, for which you coach. What was the biggest jump she made, like from her junior, senior year before coming in here?
When she came and committed to really play beach volleyball, she just got so much more confident, learned how to move, learned how to play defense, started to read the game better. And, you know, anytime you get all those reps in the sand, you get more comfortable and you learn how to set up defense, read what the other team's doing to you. And those were all areas she really improved when she committed to beach full time.
Elite is one of the premier beach volleyball clubs in the country. There's also a number of other ones, including Wave, who's also gotten very big. What have these beach volleyball clubs that are still really young done for the growth of this collegiate beach volleyball game?
It's super exciting. It's exploding. There's 692, there's Wave, there's San Diego, there's Club One here in Arizona. Gosh, I'm sorry if I'm forgetting some, but there's so many different club programs giving players in high school more opportunities to learn the sport at an early age so they can come and compete right away when they step in onto the college scene.
And it's interesting, of course, because the college scene then goes on and feeds the pros potentially. I mean, there's players coming out like Kelly Clays and Sarah Hughes out of USC, who many think, including you, is already the second best pair in the country behind April Ross and Carrie Walsh.
Well, yeah, you know, a lot of players didn't learn the beach game till they came to college, and then it's a learning process. It takes a few years. You're not just good as a freshman if you've never played beach volleyball. But now these players come in with some experience, and they're really upping the level of play immediately on the college level.
Lundberg and Carballo, a 6-point lead against Strickland and DeHoog. Trying to hit it where they're not is Cassie Strickland.
Cassie Strickland's got a great serve, but it's usually very aggressive, and in these windy conditions, I don't know if she's going to go for that jump top spin. She's just keeping it in play.
Cuddy, DeHoog.
Good read by Caitlin Carballo, just unable to pick that up.
In the 5 pairs on the right side of your screen, it was Washington's Crabtree and Chalmers who took set number 1. They are tied up right now with Braun and Cross on the right side of the screen.
You got it.
Have to see if either of these will put a point on the board for Arizona State or Washington. Winner moves on to tomorrow, loser eliminated from the team tournament. On the right side of the screen, another successful play for Braun and Cross.
Katie Cross provides some size at the net at the pair 5 spot for Arizona State, and they go up 18-17 in the second set.
Meanwhile, on the left side of the screen, off of that tough serve, it's Lundberg and Carballo with match point. They won set number 1, Strickland setting. Little ball. Here comes Carballo, and Lundberg and Carballo win the match. The 3 pairs put a point on the board for the Sun Devils.
That's a nice win at Arizona State for pair 3s. Kaylin Carballo, Ellis, and Lundberg, just freshmen, scoring the first point.
So Arizona State leads the duel 1-0. And we return to the action on the 5 pairs as Braun and Cross battling it out, tied up again with Crabtree and Chalmers.
On the 3 seeds, ASU wins it in straight sets.
Cutting the other way, match point for Crabtree and Chalmers.
I love the fight in Lindsay Chalmers. She is such a gamer, lives for this battle right here. She did not know if she was going to be competing at college for beach volleyball. When she got this opportunity to play for Washington, she was thrilled, and she's really making it count, scoring points with Anna Crabtree, who also tried out for the team and made it.
Yeah, and Chalmers also out of Manhattan Beach, also played club in high school, got good training, and came into the opportunity prepared, right? That's preparation meets opportunity. That's luck, right?
Correct. Yeah, you know, she had beach background, probably more beach background besides Chrissy Jones for all of Washington's players. Lindsay Chalmers trained with Katrina Kernikin and Abril Bustamante, the USC players, and Joe Kremer. We were all part of the same club, so she's trained against these players, and she's not intimidated.
It remains a match point for Crabtree and Chalmers of Washington. They would tie up the duel back to 1 apiece. Braun passes the first ball.
Go. Come on, Andy. Go deep, go deep.
Chase down, passed over. Cross, up to hit. Defended the net, and it is Crabtree defending the net as Washington sweeps Arizona State, and this is tied back up at 1 apiece.
How great that Lindsay Chalmers and Anna Crabtree can score that first point for Washington Huskies
Lindsay.
at 5.
So the 3s and 5s are on the boards. Let's go over to court number 2, where Brad Keenan's been hanging out with his Arizona State Sun Devils. He's got Ali Acaro and Madison Berridge, a junior-senior combination. And we'll also check in on the 1s as Chrissy Jones and Tia Scambray are facing Ariano and Follett. First set win for Jones and Scambray, Ariano and Follett, leading set 2.
Coach Brad Keenan for Arizona State talked about them stepping up when the match was on the line, and they've responded in the second set to Jones and Scambray.
Off the wall of Canada as that one for Ariano for Follett gets used. Side switch. It was 90 degrees at one point today. There's been big gusts, sun in your eyes. Now it's dark. Temperatures dropping significantly, and the winds are swirling.
Good thing this is the last match of the night.
Still 81 degrees though here in Tucson. Just feels cool relatively.
A little cooler.
That's just because it was like 95 earlier. So set point for Ariano and Follett. How about that from Scambray?
Beautiful play. She sees that wide open shot. Loves to go back to her line, Tia Scambray.
On the right side of your screen, ball put down by Ariano, and so it will go to a third set for Jones and Scambray, Ariano and Follett, the 1s. Let's check in with court number 2. Destiny July back to serve. O'Carroll wants to convert, but it never goes over.
That's the ball Brad Keenan wants her to hit, that over on 2-ball, but she's got to get her feet there, and if she doesn't have time to swing, a quick poke to the corner, boom. It's done. She's just uncomfortable hitting that second ball right now.
These two teams well matched up. O'Carroll and Berridge now at set point. They want to force the twos to a third set. O'Carroll puts the ball up, and what a swing. Berridge unloads for set point, and the twos will go to a third set.
Big swing from Madison Berridge, 5'8" senior from El Dorado, California.
Tied up at 1 apiece, and the ones and twos go into a third set. It's still hot in Tucson.
This is it.
Yeah, you better bring your AA game today. It's been 12 hours of beach volleyball action. Our Pac-12 network crew has brought it all day from Tucson. Final match of the day, win or go home, tied up at 1 apiece between Arizona State and Washington. And we return to the action on court number 1. Ariano and Follett and Jones and Scambray split. Holly, third set, how do you approach it? It's a shorter set.
Well, toe-to-toe, I mean, these teams match up really well. 21-17 for Washington, 21-17 for Arizona State. So it's all about executing right there. Washington starts with a big transition dig and kill to go up by 1.
The Pac-12 pair of the week, Jones and Scambray, the only pair of the week not out of one of the top 2 teams in the nation, USC or UCLA. Ariano over the block. Good eye by Ariano.
Chrissy Jones had the right idea, pushing Arizona State deep. That one just carrying a little long.
I'm so impressed by Whitney Follett because when she first hit the beach, you know, she had just come off of that illness, and now you can just tell how fit she is, how hard she's worked.
Scouting report on Tia Scambray. She likes to hit the ball line almost every time, and the defense needs to adjust. I would block her angle, dig her line, force her to hit somewhere else.
Well, so can we talk about the signals? Because not everybody knows in terms of the blocker determining and letting your partner know.
Sure, yeah. You know, whoever's in the backcourt or usually will put up signals. Your left hand would represent the right player on the other side of the net. Chrissy Jones showing her partner, Tia Scambray, what part of the court she's going to block. She's choosing angle on Bianca Ariano and dropping off angle as well. So she would flash the number 2 sign. That represents angle. The number 1 would be line. And because the set was a little bit off the net, Chrissy Jones decided to pull off and play some defense in that location.
Now, I know from years and years of working with you that the 2 things that you talk about the most in terms of transitioning from the indoor game to beach, one is setting, which we can talk about, and the other thing is pulling and blocking. And so what do you start with when you're teaching people when to pull and how to pull?
One, it's really
pulling off the net is what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's really important to track the ball as the blocker. You need to follow the ball and get on the ball. Second thing, you watch the set. If it's off the net, and you have to pay attention to that, you get off the net and you dig. If it's tight to the net, you stay. Some people just automatically decide or predetermine what they're going to do, and that doesn't work.
Do you always pull in the direction of that you were going to block? If you were going to block angle, do you always pull angle?
Not always. You can audible on the fly, and what I want my dropper to do is drop into the short side of the court so they don't have to make a big trek off the net. The shortest part of the court is the best part to drop into.
Ariano and Follett down by 4 against Jones and Scambray. It really comes down to, 1, 2, and 4, lots of pressure.
Yeah, I mean, every one of these matches is so important, and it looks like most of them are going to go 3 sets. You saw assistant Crystal Harris. She works with Club 1 Beach Volleyball in Phoenix, Arizona, but she's trying to make it on the Pro Tour and coaching on the Beach Tour. You see her coaching Follett and Bianca Ariano in this match.
tied up at 1 apiece. So really in the 3 remaining matches between the 1, 2s, and 4s, whoever wins 2 out of 3 wins and continues on tomorrow, along with Arizona, USC, and UCLA.
Haven't seen a lot of dribblers on this super tightly wound net dribble over. Usually they're hitting the tape and remaining on the server side of the net.
Right down the middle, Follett passes the ball. Makes it look so easy.
Good court vision by Whitney Follett. Doesn't need to hammer it, just sees the open court and puts it there.
Follett signaling to her partner now, Ariano now, letting her know her intentions.
Sometimes you don't like what your blocker's putting up and you say, no, change it. Change your right hand, change your left hand. It's important to communicate.
Is that everybody or just you? Because I know you have those kind of strong opinions.
Yeah, I hope that whoever's working with their partner on the defense, that they communicate that.
I'm just kidding. It's just late, that's all. Of course, with 72 beach wins, you're still one of the top 3 in the world, in the country, in terms of beach wins. And we see the partnerships shifting around. How challenging was it for you when you would shift partners? Because here there's partners shifting with regularity, more so than on the Pro Tour.
Yeah, you know, obviously, if you have success with the partner, you want to stay with them. But I didn't mind switching partners. It was always a fun new challenge, trying to find that chemistry, trying to figure out how to maximize our strengths as a team. And, you know, everybody has different strengths. I got to win with a lot of different partners, and I enjoyed that part of my game.
It's interesting talking with Carrie Walsh the other day and hearing you two say, well, what would it have been like if you had played together? Carrie Walsh and you, because you just hoover up everything behind.
It would be pretty fun.
Be another Pac-12 matchup, UCLA and Stanford players. Chrissy Jones puts it down.
Wow, aggressive move by Chrissy Jones with Whitney Follett in her face. She was not surprised by that move, but Chrissy Jones still able to put that ball away. Washington, you can tell how hungry they are to win this match.
It would be a big win for Washington, no doubt, because Ariano and Follett has been a pair that has really taken it to a lot of 1 teams. They gave a nice challenge pretty much all through the tournament today, and Follett wanted that. Snapped down too early, came down on her side, and that was a big one because Jones and Scambray now to double figure.
Arizona State's going to have to step up and fight hard. This is the end of the set where they need to step up, and that's what Brad Keenan said. He likes the end of the match because that's when their intensity, their focus becomes better. It's just hard when you're at a deficit in the 3rd set.
Jones at the net. And Follett successful.
Whitney Follett stays aggressive with big Chrissy Jones trying to block that ball.
There you see the signals. What's the 5 open hand mean?
Well, it's different for every program. Usually it's either a ball block or a drop. It just depends on what your plan is.
Got it.
After 1s and 2s for line and angle, there's all different calls and trick plays and setting teams up as you get more advanced.
Follett up, Jones waiting for her. Two of the biggest blockers on the indoor side, battling it out.
This ball kind of tight to the net. They go up and battle on the second ball. Kind of looked like Whitney Follett hit that off Chrissy Jones, but it was called in Washington's favor. Big swing in the cross court. Bianca Ariano staying aggressive at the end of this 3rd set.
Ariano transferred into the Arizona State indoor program years ago, took over the setting duties. Just really has that personality of running the offense, likes it. Partnered on the 1s team with Macy Gardner 2 years ago, and then partnered up with Follett last season. Jones and Scambray 2 points away from putting another point on the board in this duel for Washington. Ariano now starting to be a craftsman.
Fantastic high line shot. Bianca Ariano saying, Whitney Follett, let's do it right now. We have to do it now. Time is running out.
Scambray up. Cuddy. Scambray just sees where they're not after Jones puts that up.
But Chrissy Jones getting that ball that dropped short over the net, sets up her teammate. She was dropping, changes directions to Scambray, gets her feet behind the ball. Deep middle, I love it.
And comes back and says, one more. This is match point. Ariano in the net, and a big yes let out. Scream in delight. The Pac-12 pair of the week, Scambray and Jones, with a win for Washington. And the Huskies lead this duel 2-1 over Arizona State.
That was a very important point, and nobody assumes that anybody's going to get a point off Follette and Ariano.
They certainly do not. And so we go immediately to the action on court 2. Acaro and Barrage and July and Schwann, third set, just a 1-point differential. July passes. Acaro up on loads, but Doug. So smart from Destiny July.
First we see the power, then we see the finesse from Destiny July from Washington.
Courtney Schwann, the Pac-12 Indoor Player of the Year. Serves, picks that up. Option, July.
Good court movement, 6'1", Courtney Schwann, the full-time defender on this squad. Scooping it up, setting her athletic partner, Destiny July, up for the easy kill.
If Washington wins either of these sets in progress now, they win the duel and advance till tomorrow. Jonathan Winder, the head coach of Washington, intently watching the action.
Come on. Come on.
Carl set.
Come here. Hey, right here. No, right here. She's up, cross. Yes.
Acaro off of July's hands.
High transition attack from Oluama Acaro, otherwise known as Ollie. 12-12 in the third set. 3-point game right now.
If Acaro and Barrage win this, the duel again tied up at 2 apiece. And this is what makes the team sport so exciting. Going for that deep line, July passes. And I know the counter says April, but my heart says July, a little bit off.
What a dig. Destiny July, we talked about her arm, but she has quick feet. Gets back, digs this ball, tries to put that ball down, missing it just long.
Barrage, back to serve. Shut door, Acaro.
Beautiful line move by Ollie Acaro on that block, just shutting down the line. Good hand penetration over the net.
Wow, that was a roof block, absolutely closed. Match point.
Destiny July, very mature. I mean, she can hammer that ball, but decides a little cut shot, little change up for the kill.
July and Schwann chasing Acaro and Barrage. Arizona State puts this away. It's tied up. Wow, way to end it on a block. Acaro closes the net and ties the duel.
Her block is a thing of beauty. She is way over the net, sealing. She jumped a little higher on that play. Did you notice?
Higher than high. That was incredible. The blocking of Acaro, the difference in that fifth set. And so again, it comes down to the 4 pairs tied up at 2 apiece. Cassidy Pickrell and Mia Rivera of Arizona State, or Melanie Wade and Shane McPherson of Washington. One of these pairs is going to propel their team into the play tomorrow on Pac-12 Network.
Back-to-back nail biters.
Yeah, and both times coming down to the 4 pairs. Pickrell. Beautiful set. And Mia Rivera puts it away.
Beautiful swing down the line away from the defender. Both teams have bigger players playing the net. Cassidy Pickrell, Melanie Wade, and then Shane McPherson for Washington in the backcourt. Mia Rivera for Arizona State.
Pickrell paired with Carballo earlier in the year.
Right.
And put away there from Shane McPherson.
Cassidy Pickrell needs to grab that ball. That ball was set tight to the net. She needs to get up and grab that ball. Her hands, her press over is laid on the block. Washington makes her pay. 13-12, and there's a side change. Washington up by 1.
McPherson and Wade up by 1 against Rivera and Pickrell. McPherson up, blocker pulling off. Wade up at the net, Pickrell off her hands. And Melanie Wade and McPherson at match point for the Huskies. Pickrell chasing it down. Little ball, Wade options. And with that, the first upset of the day, the 7 seed Washington will advance to Friday's matches.
And it all came down to the fours. We saw that happen with Arizona and Stanford, but Melanie Wade, Shane McPherson coming out with a big third point for Washington to upset Arizona State.
Wow, we're going to come back and wrap it all up as the Huskies advance the 7 seed, upsetting the 4 seed Arizona State.
You need tires. You don't need a house.
New York life.
Well, taking a look at the big board that has guided us through 12 hours of Pac-12 network coverage today. And it was the first upset of the day. Washington over Arizona State, the 7 seed over the 4 seed. And so let's take a look now at the winners bracket. The top 2 seeds, Holly, advancing USC and UCLA.
UCLA, Arizona 4-1, and then USC a clean sweep over Arizona State in the winners bracket.
And so that sent us over to the contenders bracket. And of course, the action there was hot. Washington upsetting Arizona State. Arizona over Stanford. Both times it came down to the 4 pair, Holly.
And it was so exciting. Lots of pressure, lots of extra points, lots of third sets, and that's what it's about. Both teams really pushed to get that last victory to advance to tomorrow.
Yeah, a 3-2 win. And meanwhile, tomorrow, the top 2 teams in the nation playing, UCLA number 2 and USC, undefeated this season, the defending NCAA and Pac-12 beach volleyball champions. Can anybody beat them?
Well, you know, it's funny. We talked to Stein Metzger, and he said, we really pushed SC at SC, but they responded. They are so good. We are not sure what it's going to take to beat them, but we're going to keep trying.
Yeah, the depth of SC is what's really impressed people, and so USC comes in as the favorites. Of course, Kelly Clays and Sarah Hughes, a great part of their strengths, but they've got other players who are so deep and fill-in players, including Kernigan, who's filling in for Joy Dennis. By the way, Joy Dennis ill. That means she's out for the weekend.
Yeah, it's been a team effort, and that's the environment Coach Anna Collier created at USC, but they're led by Kelly Clays and Sarah Hughes, who really set the bar high and really lead by example for USC.
Yeah, Clays and Hughes won 103 straight matches. They've only lost once in the last couple of years. That's how dominant their one pair is. But as we've said, Holly, it's a team competition. So a win by the ones does not guarantee you a team win or a championship.
No, and we just saw that when Arizona beat Stanford and then Washington upset Arizona State. It comes, every pair counts. And, you know, one team has a bad match. You just don't know. You just don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be thrilling tomorrow. So USC, UCLA, and Arizona, the host school, advancing. But Washington was the big surprise today, upsetting Arizona State. What was special about the Huskies?
Washington's had a 5-week season of preparation, and they're peaking at the right time. High-level volleyball players learning the beach game.
We cannot thank our Pac-12 crew enough. Kevin Wong and Kevin Barnett started things off, but the people that you didn't see, our producer Billy Chusett, our director Gary Milkus, and all this Pac-12 crew have been here for 16 hours. For Holly McPeak, myself, we say thank you to our Pac-12 crew, and thank you for everybody watching. Hey, meet us back here at 9 a.m. Bring your sunscreen and hydrate.
This is every little kid's